Order filled. Order filled.
Here's my trade from today. Coming in the day, I had a very bullish bias. Wanted to see the open from last night get ran into this 1 hour fair value gap, also equilibrium. And from there, I wanted to catch a long off of that. We swept these lows. We put in a external SMT as well as an internal. So had the external SMT, internal SMT, high time frame PD array, and liquidity sweep. This was an A+ setup for me. All I needed was the inversion. As you guys see, this inversion was not super good. We closed really weirdly with this candle literally right before we inverse, and then the next candle just pumped like crazy. So entered like 10 seconds before the 1 minute closed. Obviously you see this fill. But what I wanted, I had 2 of my 3 contracts at this high here, whatever that is, probably like close to 1 to 1. I took 2 of my contracts off at this high, and then I was going to leave a runner all the way for a 15-minute unmitigated fair value gap. Obviously, you guys see we hit the 2 of my 3 contracts and then got broke even. I thought it was pretty obvious because ES, swept London low as well and then had a target with 5-minute equal highs. I felt like this was such a free trade, not gonna lie. I feel like it should have played out. Overall, execution wasn't great just because of this candle closure, but I'm happy I executed here. Happy I got a little bit of my profits, and I think this was a good trade. What up, boys? So I did not trade today. I haven't been sleeping great lately. I've just been up late working, up early, just trying to get in the charts early. The weekends I haven't really been sleeping much just because Sundays I usually work, and Saturdays I have MMA in the morning, so I just haven't really been able to get much sleep lately, so I chose to take the day off and sleep. Also, just got some shit going on in my personal life that I had to figure out this morning. So it was best for me to take the day off the markets. And man, I was literally just thinking about it earlier today. I'm so grateful that trading is, what I do, because, if I worked a normal job, I could not go to that, or, I could not just take a day off because I got shit going on, right? But with trading, it's freedom of time, it's freedom of time, financial freedom. Like I just, I'm able to take time for myself when I need to, and that's really just a blessing that I'm super grateful for. But yeah, no trades today anyways. I didn't really look like there was much to take anyways, and I'm actually comfortable with taking bearish setups now because we have a market structure shift on the 4 hour on the high time frame. So I feel fine with taking bearish trades now, basically until we break all-time highs again. I am expecting for, I guess, overnight / tomorrow, I expect us to slightly pull back. We swept a lot of liquidity here into equilibrium, and now we seem to be a little bit more bullish now. So I think we're going to fill this 4 hour fair value gap here. Even a 1 hour high here as well inside of the 4 hours. So I could see us taking this high and then moving lower. Could also see us coming into this fair value gap, one of these 2 fair value gaps here, but I'm going to assume that we're going to react off this one before moving lower. Overall, the new day opening gap from last week that we all wanted to see get filled, this is my drawn liquidity. When we hit that, I'm not too sure, but like I said, I expect this to pull back, sweep some liquidity, tap into a high time frame PD array before moving lower. Other than that, that's really what I'm looking for. I don't think I'll trade any Asia. I'm not really an Asia trader. Every time I trade Asia, I lose usually, so I don't really want to risk it. But if an A+ setup presents itself and I'm at my computer, maybe I'll take it. I do feel pretty, strongly about the new week opening, or the new day opening gap getting hit. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something like this. This would be ideal for me. We come up, sweep this liquidity, like I said, 4 hour fair value gap before moving lower, filling this new day opening gap. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking for. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Alright, boys, well, full transparency, I blew my account today. It was actually completely unintentional, and It's funny. It was a mistake in the moment that I didn't realize, but I was meant to be taught this lesson, and it sucks in the moment, but something to learn from. And honestly, I wanted to switch over to Trade C anyways because of the new top step payout regulations and stuff like that, payout rules. So just for future reference, I wanted to start switching over to Trade C and Lucid anyways. And this kind of confirms that move, but I accidentally took this trade on NQ instead of MNQ, and obviously I risked like crazy. I had a super huge stop. It was a learning experience, something that I had to go through. So hindsight, not a good trade, not a great trade at all. And I really see why it failed now. Coming into the market, I had a bearish bias. What I wanted to see overnight was us retrace, tap into one of these 4-hour gaps, which is exactly what happened. And then I wanted us to move lower. So this was my pullback overnight. I wanted us to move lower off open to take out and fill the new day opening gap from last week. Prior to market open, we had these equal highs at the London highs, and then obviously I had the Asia high as well right above, but these equal highs were more what I was concerned about. We also had equal lows with the Asia and London lows. So what I wanted to see us take out this liquidity up here, sweep these highs, take out the equal highs, and then move lower. I would have just targeted these equal lows if that was the case. But off open, we swept the equal lows, and I wanted to see us continue lower because of my draw being all the way down here. So yeah, off open, we took out the equal lows. I wanted to look for a continuation, but we actually took out a lot of liquidity down here. We took out these lows. This was going to be my next draw here, this hourly low inside of this hourly gap, and we wicked out of it pretty aggressively. I took this trade before the hourly candle closed, so I did expect us to fill it and, kind of inverse this small, the rest of this hourly gap here is half mitigated, but we fully mitigated it now. I wanted to target this next hourly fair value gap down here, so I have it marked out still. This was my target. I was actually going to target basically CE of it because there was a 50-minute gap here too. So that was my target. It's basically just where I went wrong. Like, it was a good setup in what I had. We retrace into a 15-minute fair value gap. Retrace into this 15-minute fair value gap, put in an internal SMT, and we had a pretty nice reaction, to form this inversion here. A lot of momentum in this candle. The 1 minute wasn't huge, but I chose to enter off it anyways. The mistake I made here is ES actually did not fully close and did not fully inverse the 1 minute fair value gap. And also ES took these lows down here, putting in a bullish SMT. I didn't really care as much about that bullish SMT in the moment because of how bearish we had been on the high time frame, and also just the bearish pressure that we had. I felt like this small move up here created more low resistance liquidity after we just took out a bunch of liquidity. But in all actuality, this is all just high resistance liquidity down here, and I was targeting high resistance. Yeah, ES failed to inverse, also put in a bullish SMT at the lows. Swept liquidity down here. There was an hourly fair value gap, and I just felt like the bearish pressure was stronger, and I made a mistake. Ultimately, this is just like market experience, learning experiences that I needed. One thing that I definitely know for sure now is I will not be trading before FOMC. This is the second month in a row that I've lost on FOMC days, so there's a lesson to learn there. But yeah, other than that, the setup, like, mechanically, it was good. But yeah, just targeting high resistance liquidity. We had equal highs above. That's where that lack of, market experience comes in too. Because I thought we were so bearish, I thought, and it looks like we wanted to continue to move lower. I thought that these equal highs were kind of just, didn't really matter as much anymore. It's not as strong of a liquidity point anymore. But I was wrong. I was wrong. If we have equal highs, more often than not, we're going to sweep that level. Or if we have an equal high, equal low, more often than not, we're going to sweep that level and take out that liquidity, right? So it's something that I should have realized. I should have just, realized, despite us being so bearish, we have a super strong point of liquidity up here that we're probably going to want to take out before we have any chance to move lower. A lot of small mistakes today, ones that I'm grateful to that I was able to identify. But yeah, just not the best day. I'm looking forward to a fresh start on Lucid tomorrow. And yeah, trading's been hard lately. I'm not going to lie, trading has been really hard for me lately. But I'm not giving up. I know that this is meant to happen. This is these learning experiences are meant to happen. You know, every profitable, successful trader had to go through something like this, and it's canon events. So I just got to remember that and continue to just put my best foot forward every day. Come onto the markets, and focused with a good attitude, and that's all I can control. I can only control my execution. Why did I try to long after a 250 point dump with Asia lows right below us? Let me explain. Let me explain. Okay, so I see my mistake. I see kind of where I read this wrong, but basically we were edging this 30-minute gap here and London low for, I don't know, I want to say like 5 to 10 minutes. What I wanted us to tap into this 30-minute gap and then react off of it and move to equilibrium of the leg that we formed down. Also, the last presented 15-minute gap. I've seen these work a lot. I've seen these last presented gaps work very often. We also had the SMT here. So it was last presented 30-minute, last presented 15-minute, external SMT, 2-minute inversion. A plus setup, definitely a pattern trade though. Like I said, we have Asia lows right below us, and we also inversed a 1 hour. That should have been a telltale sign that we didn't want to react higher. We didn't want to move higher for the day. But I kind of married my bias. I was just wrong. I was focused. I felt really good today. Like I felt really focused on the market. New trade C account, so I was really dialed. I just felt good. I was honestly just wrong, and I took a pattern trade. Simple as that. I just read the market wrong, and I'm man enough to admit it. I really do think we will. Like we're creating all this low resistance here. I really do think that we're going to come up and come into equilibrium of this leg down. When we do that, I do not know, but I do think we will. Back tested that before. I've seen it many times in my back testing. I've seen it in forward testing too. But yeah, I was simply just wrong, and I pattern traded. I won't lie. I took a pattern trade. So happens, but yeah, just gonna try to learn from this one. And yeah, if we're that close to a low, I should not be longing. Or if we're that close to a key level, then I should not be trading against it. If we inverse a high time frame BPR, I probably shouldn't be trading against it. So I ended the week off, no trades today. I did a couple forward tests that hit, but I did not end up taking these just because first one was pre-market, the second one was at like 11:30. So both just, I don't like trading pre-market because when market opens, it is kind of it's unpredictable, and then this one was just a little bit too late in the day for me. Also, didn't align perfectly with my continuation setup, so chose to fade it, just do a forward test, and yeah, they both played out. I'll briefly just talk about them both. First one, we just had a 5-minute fair value gap. We had equal highs here, got the 1-minute inversion, and then just did this forward test. It actually hit before market even opened. As you guys see, we pumped like crazy off market open, pumped about 250 points. So here I was just sitting on my hands. I honestly got off my setup, and I decided not to trade once we just continued to pump here. I went to the gym at this point, and I got back around, once we were tapping into this 5-minute here. ES had formed some equal lows here right on top of a 5 and 50-minute fair value gap, I believe. And all I wanted to see was ES just tap into this gap and then move higher. As you guys can see, we tapped into it here. That formed this SMT. I usually, for continuation trades, I like to see the SMT inside of my 5-minute gap or my 15-minute gap. Wasn't really the case here. We probably did not need to retrace all the way into this 1 hour, and this 5-minute would suffice for now. So yeah, last presented 5-minute of this leg up. It was also an OTE of this leg. Got a 30-second inversion. I also usually don't take 30-second inversion, so that's why I did not take this as well. I chose to fade it. And then I just targeted this this internal high here, which is inside a 5-minute fair value gap. As you guys can see, we pushed through it, but yeah, it was a good read. Good reads on both trades, honestly. I wish I would have taken this one because the equal highs were here before market open. It was so free. Honestly, prior to market open, we had equal lows on ES and then the London low here. I wanted us to sweep these lows because there was a 1 hour fair value gap here and a 4 hour fair value gap on ES, I believe. So I wanted us to sweep these lows to take us higher, but obviously you guys see we just continued off open. But yeah, I wish I would have taken this one. I felt really confident about it. Like I said, I just don't trade pre-market. It breaks my rules, so I chose to fade it. But yeah, what I'm taking into this week, this weekend, sorry, I feel really good. I feel really good about where my trading's at. I feel good about just accepting losses, accepting that they happen, understanding that that's a part of the journey, that is a part of trading, and just not beating myself up when I lose a trade. All I can focus on is executing, taking A plus setups, and that's also what I'm taking into next week. Is just focusing on taking good trades, like good trades that I know are good trades. Sometimes when my emotions are kicking in, I will subconsciously validate a B plus setup. Let's just use a B for example. I will subconsciously validate a B plus setup, because my emotions are taking over. So what I'm taking in the next week, just recognizing when my emotions are trying to take over in that sense. Um, but yeah, other than that, I feel really good about where my trading's at. I feel good about the progress that I made this week, even though I didn't have a great week in terms of P&L. I don't think one winning day, two L's, one winning day, two L's, and one BE, I believe. So obviously not the best week of trading, but honestly, I feel really good mentally. I feel really I feel okay. I feel really good about where I'm at right now because I know that, everything in this trading journey is happening for a reason. And, I'm just playing it by ear. I'm trusting God in the path that He has for me. I know that everything is playing out the way it's supposed to. And, I just find comfort in that. So that's really just been my focus lately, is not trying to force results, because I feel like that's what I've been doing lately, is trying to force results on my own behalf. And, that's just not the way to do it. So, yeah, I feel really good about where I'm at. And yeah, coming into next week, I actually like where we are. Well, we have this big SMT here now, this bullish SMT, but NQ will likely tap into this high time frame PD array. ES is likely going to tap into these high time frame PD arrays. So honestly, with this slight pullback here, I assume that this is going to push us higher into all-time highs. And yeah, I'm feeling good about my trading. I'm feeling good about where I'm at. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about ICT not working long term, and that does make me think. It does make me think I kind of do want to start trying some order flow stuff, but we'll see if I get into that. I'm not too sure yet, but yeah, not much else to say. I hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, peace.